Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDF44. So, seems like my energy level is low. It's because I've been screaming for the last 10 minutes at the TV screen and ultimately waking up probably everybody in the neighborhood when AD hit his game winning 3-point shot in game two at the buzzer as time was expiring. Hit that thing from the left corner, swish. That shot was amazing. It was a natural high to see us get a victory like that. But to be honest with you, we should have never, ever, ever, ever been in that situation. We had a 17-point lead. We were dominating that team in the first half, making them look pretty much silly. And then Coach Malone, you know how coaches do. They press buttons, they do things, they try things. They try to see if they can get an edge in some kind of way. He put this kid on the back of their bench named PJ Dozier. I think I'm saying his name right. PJ Dozier, I think that's how they say it. Homeboy just came through and just basically had a nice little breakout game for himself in the Western Conference Finals, no less. So, once he put that dude in the game, he was doing things for them on both sides of the floor that really, really disruptive what we were trying to do. And to be honest, man, I've never seen, never. I don't ever remember seeing a game where it was this many slips of the hands in terms of the ball slipping out of people's hands, butterfingers. I don't think I've ever seen it like I saw it today in the second quarter. I believe it was the second quarter. Just it was continuous, and it's like, yo, especially with Kuzma, it's like, yo, homie, everything that he was doing, it seemed like he was rushing or trying to do things too fast and just knocking the ball off his hands, dribbling off his leg. But it wasn't just him. Some of everybody on the team seemed to be having this issue. Um, there is an issue with slippage as well, particularly in the paint on the right side. I noticed that maybe a few games ago. Everybody seems to be slipping in that same area. LeBron James slipped in that area down the stretch of the game, and it put us in a very, 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 very uncomfortable situation as the clock was getting ready to expire. So we were very lucky to get out of there with a win. It seemed to me that we were doing everything we could to lose. It was one of the worst third quarters you'll ever see. We played awful. And down the stretch, some of the possessions we had were just not very quality. Some of the shots that we took were not quality. So those are some of the things I did not appreciate. But I do want to give credit to people who played well. Alex Caruso was phenomenal on both sides of the floor. He was hitting shots. He was getting deflections, getting out in easy, fast break opportunities, just completely disrupting everything Denver was trying to do. I want to give credit to Dwight Howard, who came out early and was one of the big reasons why we had a 17-point lead to begin with. Just jumping completely out on Jokic and roughing him up and kind of giving us a early boost of energy to go along with it. He got in foul trouble and ultimately did end up having to sit a lot of the game because of it. But at the same time, he did set a tone that I thought was very valuable, and I think he was infectious for the rest of the team in terms of going forward with the first half of the basketball game. Now, what happened after this first half, I do not know, but we did not play well. Jokic started hitting shots. Again, this PJ Dozier kid was just, disruptive. He reminded me of like a Trevor Ariza type, somebody like that, just being disruptive. He was getting and ones, things like that. Have a few complaints about the officiating, but nothing that I care to get into right now. It was just a bunch of stuff down there that I just felt like, they were leaning toward the Nuggets early on, particularly. Excuse me. All in all, that was a phenomenal game to watch, but it felt like not the type of game you want to celebrate in terms of the way the team played. Yes, AD walked away heroic. He carried us. That shot was absolutely amazing. It was flawless, legendary playoff stuff you'll see for years. I'll always remember this shot, but I'll also always remember how poorly they played and how lucky we were to walk away with the victory, because this series probably should be tied at one apiece. And I want to give credit to the Denver Nuggets because they really fought. They did have a 17-point deficit that they climbed themselves out of again and claimed the lead down the stretch of the game and put us in a position where we needed a shot like that to win. And just so happened we're able to make that shot. But Hats off to them for pretty much playing a complete game for 48 minutes, despite having early issues with how we were pouncing on them. They continued to fight, and it didn't work out for them. But if they continue to play that way, good things will happen for them. I'm just very fortunate to be a Laker fan this evening because despite how poorly our team played, because it was more negative than positive in my opinion to talk about on our team. More or less, it was a loss, if not for a miraculous and very, very, very flawlessly executed shot by Anthony Davis. So it was a lot to talk about. Coach did some things that I thought was interesting. I felt that Dwight Howard, even though he was in foul trouble, probably should have been playing a little more when that lead started to disappear. We could use some size out there. I think he decided to put Marcus Morris in the game near the end of the third quarter. We were up by about 6. Instead of bringing size in, and it seemed like they were getting tip ins, kind of using their size against us, that kind of thing. Thank goodness Anthony hit that shot, because the play right before the 3-point shot that he hit at the buzzer was a back down play where Jokic just basically took him from the top of the free throw line all the way in, sealed him in with his back to the basket, old school style. He just really backed Anthony in the paint, and it was not Anthony's finest moment. He was definitely not able to stop Jokic from getting to the basket. So going forward, that might be a recipe they use because they had some success with it down the stretch. Jokic with his back to the basket against AD is not something that we want to happen too often going forward. Porter played okay. He played pretty well. I liked what I saw out of that kid, and he kind of had a bad game 1. Game 2, he really bounced back and gave us a little trouble, particularly in the first half. I didn't really see a whole lot of him in the second half, but you can see that coach is trying things. Both coaches are adjusting to one another, and I like what I see. It's just a nice little chess game going on out there between those two coaches. Game 3 will be very, very spirited. I can tell you this: Denver believes that they might have found some things that worked for them. I can tell you that right now. Now, the Lakers played about as awful as they could and still won, so we got to feel pretty good as well, obviously going up 2-0. The most important thing for us is to just understand why things didn't work out the way they should have today, and not think too much about the fact that we won, but more so look at how we were outplayed. And if we can understand that we played about as worse as we ever have in the bubble thus far, and even though we were able to hit shots, shout out to KCP, Danny Green, Alex Caruso. They hit their threes tonight. The threes were falling. They've been hitting those threes pretty well throughout the playoffs, to be honest with you. I haven't seen too much I haven't liked. The guys have been shooting lights out all throughout the Rocket series and now to start this one. So if we can keep that up, of course the championship will be ours. But I thought the Lakers were playing with their food a little bit today, ladies and gentlemen, and that's really what it came down to. I think we got a little comfortable. When the lead was around 12, they had brought it down to 8, and we had kicked it back up a little bit. We kicked it back up to 17 or something like that. I think the Lakers started thinking that the Nuggets weren't going to be able to pull it together in this game. And that's just not how Mike Malone's team is wired. So we need to continue to keep the same amount of focus. I thought that our bench was giving us a lot of energy early in the game, but I felt like it could have been interpreted as disrespectful. And the refs did hit us with some T's, and the refs were calling some things against us. And I think it was probably a little bit of a slight toward the energy that was coming from the bench. I like that we have chemistry and our guys root for one another, but we need to be very careful to not be disrespectful, to bring that type of energy from the referees toward our team. We don't want to give the other team no edge of any kind. So I just think that we need to kind of tone it down just a little bit. I love seeing our guys have fun, but we don't want to look like we're mocking the other team. It's just a bad look. It's bad sportsmanship, etc., etc. It's good energy, but if it's going to cause us some bad consequences, if it's going to be giving us technical situations and calls going the other way, we need to try to respect that truth and just do what we got to do. And I say we, knowing I'm a damn fan, but that's how serious real fans take it. You know what I mean? So that's how I am at times. But either way, I really appreciate the fact that we won tonight's game despite playing so poorly. 6 more wins, Laker fans. 6 more. We got to get this championship for Kobe Bryant and for the other victims who lost their lives, of course, for Gigi and for the remaining families who are left. This is their championship, and I think it would only be right if we do what we need to do to focus against these opponents, even though we're favored on paper against these opponents, continue to respect our opponents and continue to give them the right amount of intensity so that we can, really win and capture our championship. Don't give any of these teams any opportunity to take what should be a Laker championship in 2020. Our fan base deserves it, and Kobe and Gigi deserve it. So that's what's up. That's what I'm saying. BDF 44. Turnovers, y'all. Turnovers. At the end of the day, them Butterfingers, whatever that was, we need to shake that off, because it was bad. I mean, you could really put a YouTube clip together with all the slippage of the hand that you see today in this game. It was ridiculous. It was comedy. Anyway, I'm BDF 44. Thank you guys for watching. 6 more wins, Laker fans. Almost there. Peace.